According to legend, a savage tribe of hominids known as Nittaeva once lived in Sri Lanka. The question is, who or what were they? Moroccan explorer Ibn Battuta, who visited Sri Lanka in the 14th century, gave a bizarre tale about monkeys on the island. He mentioned that they were black and the males were bearded like men. Though it seemed he was referring to the endemic purple-faced langur, he further stated that these monkeys had a chief, wearing a crown of leaves. The monkey king was flanked by several guards who catered to his needs. This is probably one of the first ancient references to the legendary Nittaeva, though other writers may have referred to them earlier. Much later, in 1885, British civil servant Hugh Neville introduced the Nittaeva as a cruel and savage race of men, rather dark, living in small communities at Nittaeva, located in the southeast of the country. He then states that these red-haired creatures would descend from the rocks in parties, walking like men, and was known to constantly attack the Vidars, who were an indigenous tribe in Sri Lanka. One day, several Vidars chased the Nittaeva into a cave, then kept fire burning outside for 3 days, exterminating the Nittaeva. To date, no one knows the exact location of this cave. In 1914, Frederick Lewis confirms the Nittaeva story, highlighting that the extermination of the Nittaeva took place around 150 years ago, in the 1700s. He states that the Nittaeva, known to be just 3 to 4 feet tall, used to surround small prey and beat them to death with stones. Thereafter, they would disembowel the animal and eat it. Supposedly, the Nittaeva lived in small gangs of 10 or 20 or more, and used a peculiar language. Fast forward to 1945, British primatologist Osmond Hill launches a scientific study of the Nittaeva. He concludes that the Nittaeva may have been an isolated species of Pisonthranthropus of Java, a speechless hominid intermediate between modern man and the anthropid apes, whose fossils were discovered in 1891 on the island of Java. Interest in the Nittaeva spurred again when zoologist Bernard Heuvelmans dedicated a whole chapter to the Nittaeva in the book On the Track of Unknown Animals, published in 1959. In the book, Heuvelmans frankly confirms that the existence of the Nittaeva seems to be established without much doubt, and it remains to be discovered what they were. In 1963, Captain A.T. Rambukwala made an expedition to Nittaeva hoping to find skeletal remains of the Nittaeva. Even though he failed to find any remains, he unearthed some interesting elements, including a vertebrae of a monitor lizard, some mollusk shells, and a carapace of a tortoise. Strangely, all these were said to be part of the Nittaeva diet. Rambukwala also discovered a strange stone altar, which he thought belonged to the Nittaeva. Dr. R.L. Spittle, a famous physician and author, proposed a different theory. He stated that Nittaeva may be a species of bear in the country. In 1885, Hugh Neville wrote of a brown bear in Sri Lanka, mentioning that it's rarely found in the wild district in southeast Sri Lanka. Interestingly, this is the same region that the Nittaeva inhabited. The bear, referred to by locals as the Rahu Wallarha, was known to be smaller than the sloth bear. It had dark brown fur and was supposedly very savage. Interestingly, it too was exterminated around the end of the 19th century. In light of these recent discoveries, maybe somewhere in the eastern jungles of Sri Lanka, there's a cave with clues waiting to be uncovered that may rewrite Sri Lankan history.